Hi, my name is Izzy. I'm a crochet artist. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making some granny squares and turning them into a bag. Let's get into it. So, I recently got some of this Red Heart, like an all-in-one granny square yarn. If you use this yarn, you know it's a little challenging at first just to get the tension right. I pretty much busted through the whole skein. I've got a bunch of granny squares. So we are going to be making them into a bag. I just have a little bit left, so I'm going to show you guys making a granny square with this yarn, and then we'll get to the rest of it. I just caked up the rest of it and got a little yarn baby from that. So let's get into it. The most important thing about this yarn is the tension. And I found that was kind of difficult at first for me to figure out the proper tension for everything. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through and redid rows, or even, just went back a couple of clusters, but it is a little frustrating to work with, but I think it pays itself off for the convenience of not having to do any color changing. I would take that over having to color change any day, having to frog and do a couple stitches a little tighter or a little looser over having to color change so much. It's nice because it's like a nice clean break in the yarn where the color changes, so you can always really tell when it's going to change, which is very helpful. You can kind of look ahead and see how much yarn you have left before the next color. And this one, I think I'm gonna have maybe a little extra of the pink, so we may have to frog and make some of these stitches a little looser, but let's see. So yeah, I've got quite a bit left before that white color change. You can see it's right here. And I've got all this yarn left. So let me do my chain 2. Sometimes with this yarn, especially on the first row, I will do a little hack rather than frogging this first row. So now I've only got this itty bitty bit left, and I'm just gonna slip stitch over into the corner space. And then boom, we're ready to keep going. Here we are, right at the end. We see that color change again. It's right there. So we're gonna slip stitch here. And then again, I'm just gonna slip stitch over into the corner. So there may be like a little peep of the next color showing here and there, but I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, you can always frog it and go back, but I don't really mind, so I'm just gonna keep on going. Right, we're getting close to the end of this round, and there's that color change. And this time I actually finished right there with the white, which is nice. Slip stitch right into my chain 3 here. And we're ready to start our last row. Alright, so we've got all of our granny squares done. It did indeed make 14. I've got a nice nice stack here, nice hefty stack. So the next step for any project for me is to weave in the ends. I'm just gonna go ahead and weave them all in really quick, and then we will get started on putting it together into something. Okay, so for weaving your ends, I like to get a decent weave in there. So I'll go under a bunch of stitches. And then we just pull it right through and we give it a snip. Snip. I think we're gonna go for something like this. It's gonna be a nice big bag. And these ones will get folded in half here. Now, the only thing I'm unsure about is what color I'm going to use to connect this all. Because I don't obviously have this cream color for the rest of the bag. Let me scour my stash. So we see we're gonna have some handles coming from the top, and it's gonna be kind of a tote bag, little tote bag. So it'll be nice. We could go with this creamy brown kind of color. I think it matches the vibe of the square nice enough. So I'm gonna sew everything together with this yarn, and I'll use this yarn for my finishings. So doing the edging and doing the handle, I'll use that yarn for all of that. I'm gonna start down here so we can kind of like work our way up and then back down. Now, go into the back loops. This is all gonna be worked in the back loops. The most important part about sewing it together is making sure your stitches are lined up. So I have these clusters here, and then the space in the middle, I want to make sure those stitches line up so everything is all even. I wanted to show you, I like to attach my stuff with stitch markers. So adding the stitch markers really just helps so you don't have to worry about seams not lining up, because when you're pinning the corner to the corner, what can really go wrong? So I'm just gonna pin the rest of this together and let you guys see. And doing this really gives you an idea of the overall shape of the bag as well, which is nice. This is a handy technique no matter if you're making a bag or you're making clothes or really anything. Adding stitch markers to hold your stuff together while you sew is very helpful. Okay, so now that we've got our stitch markers in, we can just keep sewing. I've got this excess here. I'm going to sew down this way, attach, and just keep going back and forth along the seams as far as I can get, and then we'll have a bag put together. I have officially sewn all of the granny squares together, and this is what we're working with. I'm going to call it here for today. I'm looking forward to working on this some more. Today I'm going to be adding our edging, so Basically, I'm just gonna half double crochet along the entire edge of this. When I get to the corners for my granny squares, I like to add 3 stitches just to keep things flowing evenly, and then I just keep going along the rest of the stitches, 1 stitch into each stitch. Just gonna continue to half double crochet all the way around. Okay, so to work the handles, I'm actually going to end up slip stitching all the way up to this corner. Okay, so I've slip stitched all the way around and to the other corner. I do another chain of 80, reattach at this corner, and then slip stitch back to where I started. I've got the bases for both straps down. I'm gonna just tie off and reconnect at each end and do a row of double crochet. So our straps are done. I'm pretty happy with this so far. They're nice and long. I think this is gonna be a really, really cute bag. That looks much better. A couple days later, I'm finally ready to line this bag. This is the fabric that I picked out. It's something that I already had in my fabric stash. I really like to try to use stuff that I already have when I have the opportunity, just because not only does it save me money, but it's better for everyone. It's nice to just work with stuff that I already have. So this is our bag. It's looking awesome. And now we're going to iron, cut, and stitch this liner in. Okay, so I've got the fabric laid out. I have just enough to get this bag lined, like literally just enough. I'm going to mark where I need to cut. I use this white eyeliner pencil to mark out where I'm going to cut the fabric. That's not working. We're gonna use a Sharpie. You can see it on here. I've got my lines drawn and now I'm just gonna cut it out. Now that I've got it all cut out, I'm gonna iron it so it has no wrinkles and it's nice and flat. So the first step for lining a bag is I just fold over the edges, pin them, and I'm gonna sew up the sides so it's a closed pocket. Wow, that was precision threading. Okay, so I've got the bag all pinned. We have a nice clean seam, and now I'm just gonna sew it on. I'm gonna use this color thread just because it matches the edge of the bag best, and if anything pokes through the other side, you won't really be able to see it. So let's start sewing. I'm just going to keep doing the back stitch along the entire edge, and then I'll come back when we're ready to add on our tag. I finished with just enough thread to tie off. The bag is fully lined, it's nice and spacious, it's not going to stretch as much now that it has a liner in it, and I feel like the liner really complements the outside of the bag. So I'm very happy that I had just enough of this fabric. The last step for this bag is I'm going to add my tag that says Made with Love by Izzy Stitches, and then this bag will be done. Tag is all sewn on. This is the finished bag. It looks so good. I'm very happy with it. The liner complements the outside super well. I'm really happy that I had enough of this fabric. I'm a big fan of the color palette in general. Wow, it looks really good. I'm very happy with it. And again, we've got a really super spacious interior. This is definitely more of a tote sized bag. You could fit a lot in here. It's not going to stretch as much because of the liner. This is a beautiful bag. I hope you enjoyed watching the experience of putting a bag together. Maybe got a little bit more of an idea of what goes into it and how easy it really can be. I was a big fan of the granny square yarn. I definitely recommend trying that, especially if you don't like color changing. So I definitely will be using that yarn again, and I'll probably be making more bags like this in the future. This actually really held me to finishing this instead of just throwing it in my whip basket. So I think this will keep me consistent and keep me on top of my craft. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!